On today's episode of Underrated Horror, we're going to be visiting 2016 supernatural film, The Autopsy of Jane Doe. Now, I'm not exactly sure how underrated this movie is. Maybe it's not that underrated, but I've barely seen anyone outside of the horror community talk about it. So maybe in general terms it's underrated?
I don't know, man.
Now, the movie's directed by someone whose last name I can't pronounce. It follows Brian Cox and Emil Hirsch, who play father and son, Tommy and Austin Tilden, who are coroners. One day, they're delivered a body of an unidentified woman, found in the scene of a crime of this crazy homicide. At first, they notice that her body is fine externally. Like, she looks perfect on the outside. Not a single scratch or bruise or anything, really. Almost like a porcelain doll.
Nasal passages, no sign of inflammation, no fluid, and no foreign substances.
But as they're examining her body, they start to notice many internal damages, and even some bizarre things.
Hair brown,
Flash flood warning now.
eyes gray.
They discover this crazy layer under her skin, completely covered in these weird symbols, and writing everywhere. Her internal organs also have numerous cuts and scars. Her lungs are blackened, and the bones on her wrist and ankles are completely shattered. And the further they examine, the further things start to go south. And believe me when I say, everything in that morgue turns completely upside down. Some crazy supernatural events start to occur, and Tommy and Austin are left finding ways to survive these horrors, as they try to figure out how all this is happening in the first place. So many questions come up, and they just want answers so that they can survive this. Now, the movie does such a good job at its point of intrigue, even at its slowest moments where they're just examining the body. It's still really interesting, because everything about Jane Doe is just strange and bizarre, if you really think about it. Completely clean externally, yet completely messed up internally. And as they discover more, as an audience, you're intrigued too, because you too just want to know how her body got the way it is. As the supernatural events continue to occur, it really does become a nightmare scenario. Because, it's safe to say a place like a morgue is pretty creepy. A small, quiet building with dead bodies everywhere is enough to freak many people out. But take that fear to a whole other level by basically bringing to life everything that makes a morgue creepy. And yeah, shivers down your spine. From the corpses walking around to them being violent, them playing tricks on Tommy and Austin's mind, and making them see things that aren't actually there. And did I mention this morgue is in the basement, and the electricity in the building is completely shut off?
Dad?
So trying to escape is not an option, as the only elevator in the whole building won't run, and the only other way outside is blocked. These guys are stuck down there, in this creepy morgue, just dealing with this horrific mess. Now tell me that's not a nightmare come to life. The movie is disturbing, and genuinely frightening. It's pretty intriguing, but also in a way that will give you some serious anxiety if you can't handle that kind of suspense. And there are so many layers within this movie as well. Like, it seems like just another supernatural film that's basic and just messing around with these guys for the movie's sake of having someone to horrify. But no. What I love about this movie is that there's actually more to it all. There are some seriously mind-blowing reveals in this movie. Things I couldn't have predicted in 100 years, which added even more intrigue to the already intriguing and interesting plot. The Autopsy of Jane Doe is disturbing and creepy, but offers so much more than that. You have a simple plot with not too much storytelling when it comes to the main characters, because really the true story to tell all lies within this corpse. It all surrounds her, and somehow manages to be told so well, like, it's so well executed. This movie should be a little boring in some ways, but not a single second is. You want creepy? It's here. You want great performances? They're here. You want intrigue? Solid premise? Some shocking and impressive reveals? It's all here, including a completely gut-wrenching ending that left me pretty shocked, which is why The Autopsy of Jane Doe gets a 9 out of 10. So have you seen The Autopsy of Jane Doe? How would you rank it? Let me know down below. As always, your time is appreciated. And I'll catch you on the next one.